Hello, this is the Headbanging Zulu, aka Steve. This vid is an experimental video in all sense of the words. I've been thinking about doing it for about 2 or 3 months, and what I'm going to do on this channel is talk about and show anything that I don't do on the other vids. This channel is going to be for my other interests, i.e. books and DVDs and general chit chat. I thought about doing a book video for ages, but and I was going to do it on a separate channel. And I thought, why? It's just too much hassle having 2 or 3 channels, and I've tried to do it before and it just hasn't worked. So what I thought I'd do is, although because the Headbanging Zulu UK is a heavy metal channel, and basically I talk about heavy metal music, I collect a lot of it, so that's my life's vocation. I do have other interests, i.e. books. I'm an avid reader. During the last 4 years I've been commuting down south a lot, and I never used to read much. I do it in phases, but I've been going to charity shops, and when I've picked up a load of, you see me show a lot of vinyl and CDs I've picked up, I've also picked up a load of books as well. And that's what people don't realise about me. Although I crack jokes about it, I am very well read. I had to be, because when I was at school in Lincolnshire in the 70s, we had problems, and the only way I really could get an education was through reading, and that's how I got the education. I didn't do too good at school. I was good at school, but I didn't do too good in the exams, because we moved about a bit. My late father, God bless him, decided to move us 3 months before I was due to sit my final exams, which was a bit crazy. But I've always been a massive reader. And another thing I do is I collect videos, like DVDs. I've got a lot of films, but what I'm going to show today is a lot of TV series I like as well. And because what happens is, because of my lifestyle, I never have time to watch them on terrestrial TV. So what I do is I wait for them to come out on DVD, and I tend to box set them. When I listen to music at night, I don't generally watch the TV anymore. So all we've got in England at the moment is Brexit lark. That's all that's on the news, and everything's talking about this Brexit and us leaving Europe and all this garbage. I think we're better off in it, me personally, but everybody wanted to leave, and that was by the by. So basically I've been reading a lot, and I have music playing in the background, so I'm not cheating. It's like last night, I was working on my t-shirts. That's another thing I might do on this bit of segment as well, is show you how to make a few stickers and t-shirts. It was actually Mark G with a C, I hope I got that right, Mark, who gave me the idea the other night. Actually, we was having a chat on the Facebook, and I thought about, as I say, doing this for ages. So here we go. The first book I'm reading, I've read it before actually, but this is the book I'm currently reading. This is Clive Cussler, Medusa. It's a Kurt Austin adventure, and basically what happens is Clive Cussler's come up with this thing called Numa, and they're like a big world organisation in the sea, and he has these various heroes. The big one's Dirk Pitt, and they made a film of it called Sahara, which wasn't very good, but the book was brilliant. Basically you've got Kurt Austin as well. That was another sort of side project, and you've got a couple called the Fargos and all this. These books are brilliant adventure novels. I can't recommend them enough. If you want to read on the beach, this is a novel for you. What I love about them, there's no swear words or bad language in them, and it's not horror or scary. It's just good old-fashioned adventure books that you don't seem to get anymore. Because a lot of these books now, they have an axe to grind or stuff like this. But if you want a pure form of escapism, this is the author you want to read. I can't get enough of his books. I've got about 30 in the bedroom in a box, and I always take half a dozen with me when I went down south. And I'm not a very good sleeper, you see, because of my condition, and I read into the early hours, especially if I can't sleep. This is the author I always go to, Clive Cussler. He's got some fantastic characters, Fantastic action. It's just pure escapism, and I can't recommend this guy enough. Another book I've read recently from Clive is this book. And when you buy your books, go to Music Magpie, because they're a fraction of the cheaper in the shops. That's where I get all my books from now. I paid £2 for this, believe it or not. But this is one of the newer adventures. It's absolutely brilliant. It's about a samurai sword, and it's usual stuff. You get a megalomaniac multi-billionaire, and you get the hero, either Kurt Austin in this case. And it's just fantastic stuff. Can't recommend it enough. There's a picture of the author at the back. Another author I enjoy a lot, and this is great stuff. When you look at horror, you look at Stephen King. If you're into the psychological stuff, and he's the best in the world at what he does, is Dean Koontz. You can't beat his books. I've been reading his stuff since he started his career in the 80s. I first discovered Dean Koontz. I have about 50 of his novels next door, and this is one I love. It's called Your Heart Belongs to Me, and basically it's about this guy who has a heart attack, and he's got lots and lots of money, and he gets his heart from China and or Far East, somewhere in that area, but the person who the heart belonged to originally, the relative, comes out and seeks revenge. It's a really, really good book. But I can't recommend Dean Koontz enough. Unlike Clive Cussler, you have to watch some of his books, because he has got adult content in it. There is stuff in here I would not recommend to children as well. But it's only smattering, and it's not too much. You don't tend to get any sort of swearing and that stuff in here either. And again, you get great characters and great plots. They're just well plotted out books. This is the one. I've got about 3 copies of this. I picked it up for about 10. Someone gave me, I think it was 10 pence, this novel. But I can't get enough of this guy. He's just so good at what he does, the building up suspense. There's not a wasted word in any of his books, and that you always get a great ending as well. He does a lot about these guys who are sociopaths as well, and sort of killers, and that go around killing folk. And the most classic book he ever written, were 2 of them actually, was Watchers and Lightning. If you ever come across Watchers, that is the most amazing book ever written. I'm not going to tell you anything about those books, but those must have read thousands of books, but they're 2 of the best I've ever read. They're just amazing stories. But yeah, you can't get enough of Dean Koontz. He's absolutely awesome. Buy his books. I like Stephen King as well, but I find his books a bit too much padding in it for me. I like The Stand. That's an absolute classic. But unlike Stephen King, who pads the books, but his books are still the best. Dean Koontz, he goes straight to the point. He ain't got all the padding, all the stuff. And some of his books are masterpieces. They're just so good. They're amazing. False Memory. That is, if you want a book that'll turn your head inside out, I'll recommend False Memory. You just don't know who's good or who's bad. I'm not going to tell you the story, so I'm going to give it away. But that's definitely another book I'm recommending at the moment. Now we go on to a couple of another novel I like. Sorry, I thought it was the DVD part here. This is a one I got cheap. This is Lee Child's Jack Reacher. Now these books are massive at the moment. He's the biggest hero going, the Jack Reacher. The only thing that spoilt it was me when Tom Cruise made the film. Because anybody knows Jack Reacher, he's 6'5" tall, and he's an ex-military policeman. He was a major, and because basically they had to look out for all the criminals in the army, and he's like ultra tough, and he's ruthless, but he's a good guy. He don't take prisoners, in other words. And the great thing about it is he doesn't live anywhere. He has no fixed address, no car, nothing. He just carries his toothbrush in his pocket, and he goes to town on these adventures, looking after the underdogs. They're just great novels. You can't fault them. The only thing I have said, a couple of them have been a bit sort of samey. You know what you're going to get when you turn the page. You know when the big fight, when he's going to knock 4 or 5 blokes out, is going to come. And that's the only fault I've got with them. But apart from that, they're just absolutely brilliant. The only other thing I liked about them as well is because Lee Charles set one of these books in Lincolnshire where I used to live. It was really, really good because he actually got the flavour of the place down to a T. But yeah, another great book I enjoy reading is Jack Reacher. You just can't beat it. It's like modern adventure stuff. He's the next James Bond, apparently. They're making a TV series of it all. They're trying to. But the trouble is, they ain't got an actor who's 6'5", and that's where the problem is. You see, because Tom Cruise did the films. He's only a short fella, and it sort of spoilt it a lot. But yeah, it's just a great read. If you haven't read one yet, please, do. They're just amazing. Now we could go on to the DVDs. I pulled this one out because I ain't watched it yet. This is a programme that's been on British TV, but I'm pretty sure it's been on around the world. It's about this guy. It's called The Missing. And they've got a third one out, but I ain't got that one because that was just shown this year. And there's this guy, I think he was from France originally, goes looking for missing folks, and I love this. I watched a few episodes of the first one, and I sort of lost touch with it, but I sort of recouped it all with season 3. And I thought I'd buy this because it was very cheap, so I could watch seasons 1 or 2 again. But this is just pure brilliance. It's set in Europe, Holland and France, and if you're into this sort of stuff, it's got everything in suspense, a lot of plot twists and stuff like that. And the guy's retired, and he had a brain tumour, and he sort of goes back to work. And there's all sorts of things happening around the story as well. But if you want something that's going to keep you gripped to the edge of your seat, 'cause you don't know what's going to happen next, this is it for you. Now, last but not least, I forgot I was going to show this in my last video, and I have got another video, but I forgot to pick it up. And this is the English answer to The Sopranos. This is the Peaky Blinders. This is the box set 1 and 2, but I've also got 3 on the couch, but I forgot to pick it up. This is absolutely awesome. It's set in Birmingham, which is about 40 miles away, the same place as Black Sabbath and Priest came from. They actually play Black Sabbath songs in this, and it's like The Sopranos in New York, but this is the Birmingham version. And I think this is shown all over the world now. But if you ever get a chance to watch it, please do. It is an 18 for grown-ups only, because there's a bit of violence and gore in it, stuff like that. But it's about a bloke who's a gypsy. He's coming up through Birmingham. But he's sort of now, I won't spoil it for you. I was going to give an important plot twist back, but I thought I'd better not, in case you're not in England. But it's just pure British quality. To me, this stands up to The Sopranos all day long in terms of quality. And people, I always compare it to The Sopranos, but if I had the choice of the both, I'd personally go for this. And I was a massive Sopranos fan as well, because one of Bruce Springsteen's bandmates was in it. But if you ever get the chance to watch the Peaky Blinders, do. But this is the end of this vid. I hope you like it, and I want to do some more. And give me a rate it below. And it's not necessarily going to be about books; it could be about anything. That's not heavy metal. If you want to see the heavy metal, obviously watch me other. I think I've done about 200 videos. I'll still be showing the records and stuff, but this is just sort of like an offshoot of it. And I just didn't want to, make separate films. It's just too much hassle. And after Brexit and all the hassle we've got in this country, who needs more? Anyway, let me know down below what you thought of this, and I will see you next time. Ta-ra.